What is up, everybody? It is Spacer back again today, and we're going to be talking about Episode 2, Chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett, the Tribes of Tatooine. And this video is going to be pretty similar to the one that we did last week for Chapter 1, where in the beginning, I'll give you guys my review. Then we're going to go into like a general discussion, talk about the major things that happened this episode, and then we're going to discuss some of the things that I think are going to happen in the future of the show. And honestly, some of the theories that we kind of already have brought up have started to materialize, which is very cool. And towards the end, any TikTok videos that I've already made covering Chapter 2, I'm going to re-edit and format into the end of this video. So we're going to break down some important character reveals, and there were some cool ones in this episode. Talk about any of the familiar aliens that showed up and any smaller Easter egg or detail. Those will all be at the end of the video. If you would just like to skip ahead to those segments, you can go to like these times here. But without further ado, let's just get right to the review. Okay, first up, I absolutely love this episode. It was amazing, like 9.5 out of 10. It was that good in my opinion. Like, the storytelling was beautiful, the action was high energy and thrilling. I loved watching every single second of it. Also, the dynamic between Boba Fett and the Tuscan Raiders is so unique and so interesting to watch. I can't get enough of it. It's funny because Boba Fett is almost like his own Grogu of the story here, because in The Mandalorian, obviously Mando adopts Grogu as like his son, but here the Tuscan Raiders collectively adopt Boba Fett as one of their own, and not just like symbolically, like they straight up just adopt them into their tribe by the end of the episode, and it was amazing. And speaking of the Tuscan Raiders, my goodness, does this show do wonders for them as characters. I saw somebody say that The Mandalorian made them like Tuscan Raiders, but the Book of Boba Fett made them love Tuscan Raiders, and I could not agree more. I never thought I'd be in a position where I'd be sympathizing and empathizing with characters who for the longest time have been portrayed as villains, but obviously that is not the case, at least not with this tribe. They did kind of mention that some of the tribes are different, but this one's just looking out for themselves. They got people intruding on their lands, and the way that they kind of like reflect some of the moral dilemmas and the trials and troubles that some actual indigenous people and tribes have gone through in real life is absolutely remarkable and brilliant, because by adding all of this depth and humanity to these characters, it kind of breaks that stigma. But also, and honestly, in my opinion, that's just top tier storytelling. Like, just watching it all unfold and getting to learn about their culture through their interactions with Boba Fett was very entertaining and very interesting, but also, they're just really cool. Like, watching that one lady Tuscan Raider, like, single-handedly throw herself at the train during the heist, that was sick. Like, that was awesome. They're really cool to watch, but also, they're really interesting to learn about. Alright, now we gotta talk about the biggest thing that happened in this episode, which is the fact that they've already reintroduced two major crime organizations from Star Wars in the form of the Hutt Cartel and the Pike Syndicate. And if you don't know the Pike Syndicate, they were the people that were on the train, they were moving their spice. Boba Fett and the Tuscan Raiders kind of killed a whole bunch of them, but set some free at the end. And then the Hutt Cartel in the form of the two twins that showed up in the beginning of the episode, they're related to Jabba the Hutt, and they show up with the Wookiee bounty hunter Black Chrysanthemum, who we're going to talk about more at the end of the video. But essentially, they're like, Boba Fett, what are you doing? Piss off, this is our territory. And he's like, nah, you're going to have to kill me. And they're like, okay, we're just going to do this a different day. Sleep well, bounty hunter. So Boba Fett has already now managed to piss off two of the biggest crime organizations in Star Wars in the form of the Hutts and the Pikes. And what I've been saying for a while now, theorizing, even before the show came out, is that we're going to be getting some type of Syndicate war by the end of the show. Maybe not a full-blown war, but at least a skirmish. And I think it's very possible that Din Djarin and the Mandalorian could show up as an ally to Boba Fett, because Boba Fett and the Tuscan Raiders are going to need some help if they're going up against the Hutts and the Pikes. And I think there's room for the Black Sun to be introduced at some point as well. There's only 5 episodes left, but also it's being widely rumored and speculated that Crimson Dawn could be showing up as well, with Emilia Clarke returning as Kira. So if Boba Fett has a grudge, or if they have a grudge with Boba Fett, all these different factions, it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, Boba Fett has already pissed off the Pike Syndicate and the Hutt Cartel. And for those that don't know, the Pike Syndicate does not simply forgive and forget. So you might think that that was over, but I have a feeling that they're going to be back for some vengeance. So if and when any of these factions make a return, it's going to be interesting to see how Boba Fett gets out of this situation, because he's going to need a lot more allies than just the Mandalorian and a couple of Tuscan Raiders, and Fennec, of course. But, you know, if he was going to single-handedly take on the Hutt Cartel or Crimson Dawn or the Pike Syndicate, yeah, or let alone the fact that if any of them were to combine, they would just be absolutely screwed. I think it is possible that some of his old bounty hunter pals might be able to help team up with him. They're adversaries a lot of the time. They don't always get along, right? But I think under the right circumstances, Bosk, Dengar, Embo, any of those characters could show up and maybe help Boba Fett out, and I think that'd be great. Okay, from here on out, we're going to talk about some of the Easter eggs, the cool details. We're going to break down all the familiar aliens that showed up, and especially that one big character reveal. But before we do that, I do want to mention that that was, in fact, Tashi Station that we saw in this episode with Cammy and Fixer, Luke Skywalker's friends from that deleted scene from Episode 4, A New Hope. I didn't get the chance to talk about that on TikTok, so you're not going to see it in any of these upcoming videos, but I did, I just wanted to point that out. That was really cool. I really appreciate it, the fact that they went in and fully recreated that whole set. That was awesome. All right, without further ado, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of these videos. All right, first up, in no particular order, we got an Ithorian and a Shadra fan. Both of these alien designs made their first appearance in Episode 4, A New Hope, and I wasn't kidding when I said we had some big ones in here, because we got 2 Hutts, and they looked fantastic. Next up, we got a Cascadag, an alien design that made its first appearance in Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We got a whole bunch of Pike Syndicate members. We even got to see them with their mask off. And of course, the Wookiee bounty hunter, Black Chrysanthemum, who looked absolutely phenomenal and terrifying at the same time. Moving on, in the Twin Hutts litter, you can actually spot a Weequay helping to carry them. In the middle picture, you can spot a Snivian, and right next to the Snivian, you can spot a Bertaro, an alien design that made its first appearance in Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. And that creature that the Tuscan Raiders dig up in the bottom frame there, I wasn't able to get a good picture of it, but that is a wart. You can actually spot one of these in Return of the Jedi. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you do think that I missed any, I did leave out any of the aliens that we already covered in Chapter 1, so definitely check out that first video. It's linked in the caption below. Alright, we gotta talk about that character reveal, and I am not talking about these two Hutts. I'm talking about this guy, this Wookiee. If you do not know who this character is, that is Black Chrysanthemum, and he is one of the most ferocious and brutal bounty hunters in all of Star Wars. He disgraced his fellow Wookiees on Kashyyyk. They don't like him. He's gone toe-to-toe with some of the toughest characters in the galaxy, and did I mention that the scars on his face are from none other than Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. He's gone up against Kenobi on Tatooine. Obviously, Kenobi won, but just look at him. He is terrifying. I cannot wait to see what he does in the rest of this show. Alright, if you were wondering what those creatures were hidden in the tree when Boba Fett is on his little drug escapade with the lizard up his nose, I'm not really sure how else to explain that. Anyways, they're Jawas, and I can tell you that they're Jawas because if you look at the end of the episode at the concept art, there's a bunch of Jawas behind that tree. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely leave a like, drop a comment, hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more Star Wars content, and check me out on TikTok where I post every single day. Until next time, may the Force be with you all. Always.